Hey everybody, Dan Lobby with Lance Reisland. We're going to do another film breakdown video for you here on our Cleveland Browns on cleveland.com YouTube channel. Today we're looking at the blown coverages in the Browns' loss against the Chargers. The first blown coverage that resulted in a touchdown for the Chargers. That had a lot to do with technique for the Browns. So Lance, walk us through what happened on that play.
All right, let's take a look at some of the issues the Browns had in the secondary, giving up two touchdowns on blown coverages or poor technique. One was more technique, the other was more a blown coverage. So this first one, the Browns are going to be in dime personnel. So this is what the Chargers are going to see. The Browns are in dime personnel with six defensive backs. So you got Ward, Newsome, Delpit at the linebacker. You got Thornhill, you got McLeod, you got Diabate's the one backer in, and you got Emerson. So you got six defensive backs. What dime means is two linebackers come out and two more defensive backs go in. Nickel would be one defensive back goes in and one linebacker comes out. So Chargers see dime personnel, Delpit's at the Mike linebacker, the inside linebacker. So the Browns are going to do a good job of coming out and making this look like two-man, which means everybody has a man here. So everybody has their man in front of them with two safeties deep because it's third and 21 from the 28-yard line. However, the Browns do a really nice job of moving to zone coverage, which means all these guys underneath will have a zone and these two safeties will be deep. And the key is to make sure they keep everything in front of them. So the Chargers have one strong Palmer, two strong is McConkey, three strong is a tight end, four strong it would be Dobbins here out of the backfield. So again, this is what the Chargers see. Now the routes, you get three verticals to one side. How this works is if you get three verticals, that means Delpit, who I told you about, he's got to carry three, meaning he's got to help on three because he's probably going to run between these safeties. This safety's got to get over the top to make sure he helps on this vertical. This corner's in the flat. Over here, Thornhill's got to keep both of these verticals in front of him because Ward is in the flat. Now, Ward has got to help Thornhill by making sure this receiver goes inside. If this receiver goes inside, it protects Thornhill and he doesn't have to cover as much ground. The minute he goes outside, that's a lot of ground for him to cover. He especially can't cover if he doesn't get any depth. So as the play gets going here, you're going to see the shell that the Browns defenders make. And you can see all their eyes are back at the quarterback, which tells the quarterback they're in zone. So right now, regardless if it's zone or man, because of the shell, Herbert's looking right here. And he's deciding, is he going to go to McConkey or is he going to go to Palmer? Because Thornhill's not getting any depth, he cannot play both of these verticals. The only way he can is if he's deep. Over here, you see McLeod getting depth because you're going to get a vertical over here. So as you can see, even in this first picture, McLeod's getting his depth, Thornhill is not. As the play continues, you can see Ward is starting to see Dobbins come across. That's why it tells me it's cover two. It also tells me it's cover two because Newsome's inside. If it was cover six or cover four, Newsome would have to scream out because he's in charge of the flat. Because it's two, Ward is in charge, and he doesn't stop backpedaling or getting depth until something threatens in front of him, which is Dobbins coming across. He sees him, so he's going to let him go. Again, Thornhill has his eyes, for some reason, locked on McConkey, probably because McConkey was having some success, but you can see he's not getting any depth. As the play continues, you can see Palmer's wide open. Ward is starting to come up on Dobbins because that's Ward's responsibility. Delpit here was carrying three. He's coming over late. And you can see Thornhill, because he's so flat, he can't play either. And all the ball's out. Herbert sees him flat. He sees his eyes on McConkey. Easy throw. There's no one in this deep half. Thornhill's got to be deep so he can play both verticals. And Ward's got to make him go inside to help Thornhill. Again, this resulted in a 28-yard touchdown on a 3rd and 21, which is kind of a bad start for the Browns secondary.
And unfortunately, Lance, that was not the only time that the Browns would have some problems in their back end. This one, another blown coverage, didn't have as much to do with technique as it did what you think was miscommunication. Walk us through what you saw in that play.
All right, let's take a look at the second touchdown here, the 66-yard touchdown pass to Johnson. So again, the Browns are gonna. This is interesting because what the Chargers come out in. So it's 3rd and 6. The Chargers come out in an empty set. So up here, I want you to think about one strong is Johnson, two strong, three strong, and we're gonna focus on Johnson. Right now, you have the tight end down here, and you have receiver down here. So one strong, two strong, three strong. This is going to be 1 week and 2 week. You start from the outside and you work in. Now, the Browns check, in my opinion, to this 3-by-2 is a cover three look or a one hi-hat safety. So you're going to see Thornhill and Delpit, they're communicating. And with 3-by-2, okay, Thornhill's going to go to the middle of the field, Emerson's going to drop, and Ward's going to drop. They're all going to have a third, right? So before the shift, the Browns check to a 1 hi-hat or cover 3, all right? No problem. Now, what ends up happening is that the Chargers shift over. So this is not motion. This is before they start the motion. The tight end shifts over. Now they got 1, 2, 3, like we said in the first slide. Now they got 4 strong. Now you have just have 1 weak. Now, the check for this seems to be cover 6, which means cover 2 over here, where Ward's going to be in the flat, Thornhill's going to be over top. Over here, because there's only 1 receiver, okay, Delpit can kind of be a free hitter or a roamer or a robber, and Emerson. But for the most part, this is going to be cover 4. So he's got half a field, he's got a fourth, and Ward has the flat. Now, what the Chargers do is the Chargers are going to motion, and they're going to motion late. And here's where the problem happened. As this guy motions, okay, they don't get the call. And when they don't get the call, here's what ends up happening. Delpit sees the motion. He comes up in the original 3-by-2 call, which put him in cover 3 in the flat. That put Thornhill deep third in cover 3, 1 hi-hat. However, Ward didn't get the call, so Ward stayed in cover 6, which puts him in the flat still. And then you see Emerson, regardless of if it was 3 or 4, Emerson on this side had a drop. So as the play continues, you can see this is why you know everybody didn't get the call, even more than Ward, is that you have Delpit and you have Devin Bush, who are both in the hook to curl. If Delpit got the call, he would have been out here in the 3-by-2 because that would have been his job in the flat in cover 3. So Thornhill's running cover 3. Delpit's running cover 6. Emerson is probably in 6. It looks like Ward is in 6, obviously, because he doesn't get the call. So Thornhill, or whoever it is, it's not really placing blame. It's lack of communication. Because of the late motion going back to the 3-by-2, Thornhill goes back to the original call, but no one else does, which means Ward stayed in the flat and there was no one in his third, would left a easy 66-yard touchdown to Johnson.